Hello, everyone. Today is Tuesday, May 23rd, 2023. This is a meeting of the SIG Network Policy API subgroup to SIG Network. This is a CNCF sponsored meeting, so please be nice to each other and use good language. Let's try and have a good meeting today. So not too much on the agenda today. Just kind of want to go back over some of the stuff we got done since last time. One big good note is that our website got updated. So now we aren't just pointing folks towards the admin network policy resources. We're kind of an all-encompassing network policy API working group, working on some active APIs and future APIs. This was kind of a big website refactor. I'm sure I missed stuff. So if there's things that people see that need to be changed, like please open issues or even just push PRs to fix it. So they're pretty easy to fix, but should make it easier for new folks coming and checking us out to kind of understand what we do. The other big thing that went in was some of the conformance test-based infrastructure and like actual setup, plus some tests as well for AMP and BAMP that Suryo had worked hard on. So super excited to see those get rolling. Still a lot of work to do, but is there anything, any issues that you might need help with there, Suryo, that folks can pick up, or is there any interest in helping Suryo with that from anyone else here?
Yeah, I can try to give a quick TLDR on what we've done so far, right? I'm
Cool.
basically going the same route as the Gateway API working group is doing. And the main reason why we've taken and chosen that path of doing conformance without using Cyclonus or other tools that we have used for the core network policy API is because we want to adopt conformance profiles really in the end, the CRD that Gateway API folks have, so that we have a way of reporting back the conformance of an API per implementation. Example, OVNK and TRIA, they all adopt these upstream tests, use the CRD and report back that result. And then we tell on our website that ABC plugins are conformant with ANP or ABC plugins are conformant with PANP and so on. So that's why we kind of, I don't want to say ignored Cyclonus, but this was the easier way out because of just putting things and integrating it together, right? And like Andrew mentioned, we have gotten the framework in, and I think I've gotten the basic tests for admin network policy, both ingress and egress separately. But in the pipeline, there's also tests coming for a mix of ingress and egress, as well as the priority fields in the spec that we have for ANP. Like if you have multiple ANPs with different priorities, ensuring that the priority takes precedence, right? So those kinds of tests are in the pipeline. And I'll do the same for baseline admin network policy. One thing that also got merged is the integration tests between admin network policy, baseline admin network policy, and network policy. It was a basic test, but I think it's good enough, right? Like really the goal was to check if pass action works or not, right? Like if you pass from ANP, you have to ensure that the NP is the one you match on and so on. So I think we've made good progress there, but there's still lots to do. So the ones that I'm already going to do, I'm not opening issues, but if you go to the issues part of our repo, and you can see a lot of these new issues that I have created with the tag conformance, basically all these are things I need help with, right? So I'm not sure if, so this won't be a priority to me until I finish my downstream implementation. So if any of you have cycles, like just feel free to assign it to yourself, and you can ask me for help, or I think it's a bit hard to start with if you don't have a proper implementation to test whatever changes you do to a test, right? So I can really point you to the progress PR that I have for OVNK at least. Maybe Yang, one help that I could have from you is to see if these tests are working well for you on Antria, if you run them with the support that you have, so that if you need changes, it's still early enough, right? Like we can basically do anything at this point to refactor some of those tests and so on.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I'll first take a look at the existing couple of tests that you have already written and see. To be honest, I don't think Antria, it's still a work in progress. So I don't think we have anything to test against it yet. but it will be very soon. So for the basic functionalities, I think like pass, for example, I think we should be able to test that with Antria shortly. So I'll definitely take a look at these and maybe add a couple more test cases when I got the time. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds really good. And then the next step, right, really for me is to test out like how can the plugins like Antria and OVNK, how can they consume these tests, right? Like nobody should have to vendor these in. The Gateway API folks, how they do it is they have these tests and then the downstream implementations import the Gateway API in their downstream implementations and just refer to the same test and run it and report the test results back. So I'm trying to see if I can do the same for OVNK with the existing tests we have and focus on that part, really, the integration before adding anything newer. But yeah, I do want to finish the baseline admin network policy basics as well before I move on to that.
Awesome. Yeah, good work. I think like Yang, it's super critical that while we're developing these tests that like we're at least getting some signal as to they're working for Antria setup as well, right? Like if we just design it for a specific CNI, like we would just want to make sure that things aren't getting tightly coupled anywhere by accident or anything. So it's definitely gonna be important that we work together on this, especially right now because it's all manual, right? Like none of it's automated. So
yeah, makes sense.
super
Yeah,
important.
I'll check that as soon as I can. Yeah.
Sweet. Well, thanks for getting the ball rolling on this, Surya. I know it was a lot of work, but I was kind of I went ahead and merged these Yang because I did a review. They looked pretty good, and I figured if we need to change stuff as we go moving forward, we'll do it in a little bit faster
That makes
iteration.
sense.
So
Yeah, and another point is that I just stuck to YAMLs, like plain YAMLs that describe ANP and BANP in the tests, very similar to how the Gateway class and Gateway API folks have done. I did not use any helper functions or anything like that, right? There's basically no framework is what I'm trying to say. And we can always improve those bits in, but let's start somewhere.
Yeah, 100%. And I kind of wanted us to have some work towards conformance testing in before I wrote the release announcement for 0.1.0. So I'm happy those are in, and that should unblock me to cut the release and send like a Google Groups announcement today or like right after this meeting, unless there's any objections here to that. So good stuff. That's awesome. Are there any questions? We just ran over a lot. Comments, concerns? I'm going to take silence as a no. Cool. Yeah. So the release should be going out today. Keep your eyes peeled for that. Give some love on the announcement and the actual release itself. Can't hurt. What else do we have? I had one small issue open for updating our owners. I already did it internally. So Yang and I are now listed as the only maintainers. And then I'm also updated the SIG Network Policy API org members, removing Ricardo and adding Yang. I got a +1 from Ricardo, but Shane, I see you're on it. I'm sure as a maintainer, as a chair, if you could give a +1 here, that would also be awesome. I'll throw that in the agenda.
Can you hear me? CC me on.
No, I can't. I gotcha.
// Oh,
Really?
I think so. Will it work without it?
You're probably right. No, it won't. I always forget that. You tried to save me. Yay. That worked. Cool. Okay, what else? So is there anything else folks want to bring up before I move forward? Cool. I'll keep talking just for a little bit. So now that we're kind of like to our V1 Alpha 1 official release, right? Important things are, continuing to actually finalize and finish up first draft implementations, and then push forward to beta or even a V1 Alpha 2 if we need to. I have this project, I need to update it. Basically, what I'd like to do right now is just maybe look through our most recent issues and talk about things that need to be done kind of in the critical path of moving this API onto further versions, if that works for y'all.
Yeah, sounds good. That was actually one thing that I forgot to bring up, which is in the conformance tests, we are splitting the features into core and extended. And as a part of extended, I think we already agreed that same labels and not same labels will be in the extended suite, and I'm not in the near future going to add any tests for that. But the named ports, right? I just took the liberty of putting it under extended, but I did want to check with Dan Venture if you feel that should be part of the core that we should be supporting, or if that's okay to be under like an extended thing where plugins won't be penalized if they don't implement it.
It should be in core.
It should be in core. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll
In
move that.
particular, the use case is writing rules to allow access to DNS without having to know whether the DNS pods are listening on port 53 or 5353.
Okay. Do you have the details of that one somewhere? Or maybe you already added tests to the network policy one for this, right? Or yeah.
There are network policy tests for named ports. I don't think they do that specifically, but I think there's actually a bug opened up against the network policy API repo about this.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Actually, I do remember looking at it. Okay, so okay. I'll move that to the core also then. So,
Is it this one? Motivate network plugins to use port names /DNS.
Yes.
Let me remove these stale.
okay, and maybe just assign it to me, Andrew, because if it's core, then maybe I should just add a test.
That PR was actually about like regular network policy, but it actually applies even more to admin network policy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll probably do only the A and P bits, but I'll see if the network policy bits are easy enough, maybe I'll go and add something there.
Cool. Sounds good to me. So I think one of the main things we should get done before like pushing forward on any new features and stuff is going to be that issue you made, Surya, for outlining the workflow process. I see you're assigned. Do you need help? Like, I know you have a lot of stuff on your plate with all the conformance testing stuff. I feel like this is blocking us from moving forward in like an organized fashion. What do you think?
I should be able to get to it next week. If not, I think I'll just unassign and let someone do it. But I think once we figure out the egress control thing, right, which I'm doing, like the use cases, once we figure out that one, we can just update this process as well. But yeah, I should probably open up here the workflow and get consensus.
So yeah, and I saw you're still working on that. So you still want this to merge out of band, and then you're going to put together a doc on like more of a standardized NPEP or whatever workflow process. Okay.
Yeah, that's my thinking. Yeah. So that I think keeping the use cases as the primary thing is good to get some discussion going. And if we feel it's valid, then the real Signet and PEP or whatever, like that should not take so much time. Like it will take time in the sense that it'll be the actual API bits that we want, right? Like, okay, I'm gonna do this, change the spec, this change the status, and then there'll be discussion around it. But really there should be no more confusion on what our use cases, right? Like we just point it to the use case story that is already merged and approved by everyone.
Wait,
Okay.
I think I missed that last meeting. Is this the same thing as the gap thing to the gateway API?
Yeah,
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So just as we move forward, adding new use cases, like Surrey has already opened here, doing it in like more of a standardized way, I think will help a lot. Now, I don't want to end up, I hear what you're saying, like you can merge stuff, use cases in README format too. Like
do you
you're doing
prefer
here.
just, do you want, so I think the other option is we just don't do this process at all and just go straight for the NPEP or whatever and do it there. Is that what you're suggesting instead?
Yeah, I'm saying the NPEP process or whatever basically embodies what you already did here, plus some syntactical sugar on top of it, right? Like I don't think NPEPs or whatever we want to call it has to be like a super formal process. Like you can open a new NPEP describing some user stories. We can agree on those user stories and then merge it. And then you can open a PR against that NPEP, updating it with like implementation details and actually write out YAML. And then we can merge that. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be like a wholesale.
Isn't
So like
PEP,
part of the,
isn't PEP a dangerous name when you talk about policies? I mean, the standard is policy enforcement point. That's when you apply the policy and make sure that, I mean,
what about NPEP?
that's, yeah.
No, I know it's naming's a dirty thing.
So, I mean, PEP is, if you look in any standards document, is well defined when it comes to policies.
Let's do NPEP.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus
NPEP
one
and
for
just get it
NPEP.
over. NPEP.
NPEP it. NPEP. I like it. Cool.
So E is enhancement and not enforcement, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Okay, yeah, I'll probably go with NPEP then, and remove PEP from there. But I think I'm okay with that, Andrew. I can close the existing PR that I have for the egress control stories, and I can just remove and delete this entire folder of user stories, right? Because we're not going to do this anymore. And I
Yeah,
can just,
that's what that makes
yeah,
sense.
okay, and I can just open like a new NPEP and then also do the documentation of how to open a new NPEP.
Yeah, totally. And like I said, like feel free to take from what Gateway API has done, but also like if we need to make it more flexible one way or the other, like we have the power to do that, right? So I think in my opinion, like as long as we make sure it's really highly iterative rather than really highly like you have to have everything done at the same time at one point before it gets merged, we'll be good.
Yeah, sounds good.
Sweet. Amazing. Okay. A lot of these were the around the conformance testing. I did have a new, I just wanted, there was like a small tiny issue. If no one wants to do it, I'll do it. It's just renaming our primary branch from master to main. It's just good practice. And I think it's really the right thing to do. So if no one wants to do it, I'll do it. Going once. I'll do it. Cool. This I'm working on. Okay. I don't think I really have anything else to go over today yet. Is there anything other folks want to go over? Sweet. Well, we're going to have a short meeting today and get a bunch of time back. So keep an eye out for that release. I'll ping our channel once it's done too. And yeah, we'll just keep soldiering on ahead. So thanks so much for all your help, and we will talk to you. Oh, in 2 weeks. I am actually not going to be here. So Can someone raise their hand to run the meeting in 2 weeks? Thanks, Surya. So,
As well.
awesome, thanks. So,
Are
okay,
you going on vacation or as a day off?
I'm going on vacation for 2 weeks, actually. I'm going to Europe for the first time, so
Where are you going?
the Greek islands, and
Nice.
then my cousin's getting married in Verona, Italy. So Greece and Italy.
We'll go Stockholm and Malta.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, no, I want to spend more time there. It should be really exciting. I've only ever traveled to surf, so going to not
Next year
surf.
you can come to Malta. Then I should live there.
Oh, that'd be awesome. I know I have a bunch of open source friends I need to like link up with in Europe.
Yeah, they
One day.
started. I mean, not that I will use it, but Malta is going hard on the digital nomads now. I saw.
Yep, a lot of
I know you're
places
saying-
are, yeah.
I know you're saying Malta, but every time you say it, I think you're saying Maltus, and I'm like, what?
No, Malta. Yeah, Malta. Valletta. Let's say that instead. Malta. Yeah. Yeah, Multus. That's.
I heard that Andrew is going on vacation to work on Maltus. That's what I heard.
Ah. Yeah.
No. I'm gonna leave my computer at home. Need a break.
Sounds
we-
really fun though, Andrew.
He
Have
comes
fun.
back with Unix.
Yeah. Oh, should be a good break. So yeah, I appreciate it, Surya. Thanks for offering to take over the meeting that day, and should be a good one. Sweet.
Take care.
Okay. Well, have a good rest of the week, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.